Alright, so I have come across a few discussions online in my wanderings and musings, as you do, and have found people making mentions of converting various modern glasses with tumbling methods to produce, I suppose, like artificial sea glass. So I figured I would take a crack at it. I've gone and collected not just this, you'll see I've got a few more examples of various colored glass, some sand, it's layered in with some layers of debris and whatnot. We'll take a look at that as well. And some salt water. Not that it really helps much, it's more of an aesthetic thing, but salt water, fresh from the beach. And I'm going to be using all of this to produce some sea glass, I hope. And as we can see, we have sand. Very nice quartz sand, as I understand, because where I live, that's the kind of stuff we got. As I recall, the story goes that it's fine quartz sand that filters down from the Appalachians and makes its way to our shores, and has been doing so for however many millions and gajillions of years. So it's nice, sugary, soft sand. Very good stuff. Earlier when I was fishing the other day, I collected a bunch of dirt that was sand, and well, it's dirt, so I didn't feel like using it. I went and grabbed some actual sand. I'll take a look here in a sec, because I'm going to dump it out into this here trough just for use and experiments and whatnot later. So let's get to it. Oh man, that thing's heavy. See if there's some good stuff in there. Made sure I got some of the coquina as well. And some of the sludgy stuff. I'm gonna scoop that out. Give me just one moment. And voila! Salty, sandy goodness. With all the debris you'd expect to find in beach sand. Coquina shells, busted up bits of rock, a little bit of everything in there. There's some of the top sand from near the top of the hill. There's some of the wet sand that's fine from in the actual water. And there's some with the coquina from the edge. Nice and wet, gritty, sloppy, gooey. And yeah, with the stone layer underneath that we're going to try to avoid, at least for this experiment. Though I suppose this will be useful for things later. Anyway, we are going to use some of this. And as mentioned, we have various different colored glasses, so we're just going to go through these real quick just so we get a look at them before they get all smashed up. For our red glass, we have this funky little guy. For blue, much larger vase. I probably won't end up actually using all of the material from all this in this first project all at once. But we will have enough, obviously, to get a variety of everything. Very important for green, and also to get some textured stuff. We have this guy. And then we have, for our clear glass, I went with something that had a little bit of, I don't know if you call that frosting, etching, or what, just a little bit of a decal so we could see if it survives, if it doesn't, what it affects, that sort of thing. But that's there. And as an oddball, just to kind of see what becomes of it and its pattern, this nice funky patterned yellowy lava looking thing. And so we have some glassware. I am going to smash the ever-loving hell out of this in a safe manner, off camera of course. I'm not really going to bother to film that. And we'll reconvene once I've got a bunch of busted up glass for you. Okay, so we've got a whole buttload of busted up glass. Way more than I actually need, but enough to do this experiment.
opportunity. So, guess I might be busy here for a little while, sorting through this in terms of picking out what pieces I actually want to use and which ones I just won't be able to. So, we'll reconvene once I've figured all that out. And voila. I now have a buttload of broken glass bits. I picked out all the really super angular stuff, or the things that were really too thin or just too small, or went back and broke up the things that were slightly too big. Yeah, there's a few larger things towards the bottom here, but for the most part this stuff's, you know, not huge. So yeah, I now have glass, I have sand, and I have seawater in that jug back there. So what I'm thinking is I fill up the Nat Geo tumbler about 60-65% or so of the way with just glass, and then about another 10 to 15% of the way up with a mixture of the coquina, the sand, and with some tumbling grit, and a little bit of ceramic media if I feel like it still has space. So I'm gonna get that going. Put that shit in there. Oh yeah. It feels so weird digging through this. I know, normally I wouldn't want to be doing that. Guess I'll throw some grit down on top of that. That ought to do, right? Okay. There you go. Maybe? This here is seawater. I went and grabbed it from the beach. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it right around there. Alright, we'll throw some grit right in on top of that. Just running through some of this old Nat Geo stuff. Got plenty of it. I'm gonna put a normal amount for the weight, just 2 scoops. Because based off of some conversations I was having with this here robot, this is what I'm thinking. It's looking more or less like if you were to do it with just sand and with just coarse material, but no, without any grit, it likely wouldn't actually, within 3 to 4 to even just weeks, let alone months, do a whole lot to actually break down the glass in a way that would be convincing in terms of trying to get it to look like sea glass. So we're adding some grit to help it along. And we got our mermaid money. Now, stage 1 is one of 2. I'm going to be running this for 2 weeks, checking it after 2 weeks if it needs another week or 2 or 3 to break down edges. Once edges are all busted down, we'll move it on to fine grit. I believe we'll be doing 220 grit to kind of just frost up the outside. And then we'll give it a kind of a varnish to kind of induce some fitting. And that should be the whole process, but this might still take somewhere between like a month to a month and a half, maybe 2 months. So let's get this thing going. It only goes up to 9. We'll do 7. Start it up again after another 7. And that's that. Okay, it's been roughly 2 weeks. I guess minus a day. Or I don't know. It is time to check on our mermaid money. Oh man. Good grief, my boy. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Funky. I don't know. I'll have to take a closer look at these after I get them rinsed off a bit more, but just at an initial glance, I'm kind of feeling like maybe it couldn't hurt to let this go on another week, maybe 2 in the same stage it was just in. I mean, well, we'll reconvene here in a second. Alright, so, ain't none of this sharp enough to cut me now. It could be more frosted, but maybe it will get more frosted? I don't know. So I figure I'm going to stay the course here, move this on to the next stage for a week and monitor on a weekly basis until I get results I'm cool with. Or otherwise take note of the fact that I fucked up somewhere. Either way, nice little mermaid money. I didn't put nearly enough green in here. The green pieces are awesome because they're nice and wavy. Yeah, look at that. It's like a little pickle. Or like a lettuce or something. It's all nice and soft now. And then here's the leftovers of the media after I washed all the grit and sand out of it nice and thorough. So this I'm going to throw back in. I'm going to put some more sand in. Not a ton, but some. I might remove some of this media as well. And then put it in with some, it's the 220 grit, is it? 120 to 220? Or something like that. Either way, it's that second stage. Sand, bit of sand. Ooh, Mermaid money. Just gotta throw some grit in that and fill her up. A little low on this Nat Geo, but that's good. I've got plenty of the rock shed replacements to say. And honestly, I'm kind of just eyeballing measurements. I don't really. Honestly, gonna do like 2.5-ish of these. And I once again forgot to put water in it beforehand as usual. Right about there. Perfect. Okay. Check on this again in 7 days. See how it's doing. We're trying to hopefully get it to frost over. Maybe a little bit of pitting. Possible I may have put a little bit too much sand in there. We'll see what we get. Alright. It's been a week. This should be nice and properly frosted. If not, we'll reset for this and run it some more. But assuming things are nice and frosted, when I open this up, we'll be moving on to the last stage. There will be running some damp but not soaked sand with no media, no grit, for about I want to say 2 days, just to kind of make sure it gets some proper surface pitting and whatnot. But we'll see how it's going. Let's give it a look. Ah, jeez. Good grief, my boy. Every time. Oh, holy buckets. Now that is frothy. I don't think I've ever seen it that frothy before. That's interesting. Oh, listen to it. Yeah, I don't know if the camera picked that up, but that is some funky noise. Oh, that is the grittiest grit. Holy crap, that's like all sand. Ugh. Oh, that is compacted in there. I'm not sure how much movement that got. Uh-oh. Let's see what we get. Oh, cripe. Why are they always doing that? Good grief. Oh, neat. He's definitely frosted over quite a bit more. That's good. Okay. Cleaned them all off, and I can confirm they're nice and frosty now. Somewhat convincing. We've got, like I said, one more stage to throw these through to really get them going from, you know, tumbled glass to sea glass. And that's going to be our dry phase that we're about to go through here in a second. Separating the ceramic media from the coquina and everything after the fact, that was a huge pain in the ass. That took like 10-15 minutes of just picking individual pieces of ceramic media out. So anybody doing this with ceramic media later, just know this is a pain in the ass to work with, but perhaps necessary. Pretty damn close. Already pretty convincing. Ooh, yeah, that's turning out great. Look at that. These also frosted over pretty alright. Well, hot dog. Yeah, these are much better than they were when I looked at them previously. Okay, so we're gonna grab us some sand. Nice quartz sand. Okay, a little more sand. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to not be putting any ceramic media or any grit in this final stage. I saw that There's the potential to put like a very, 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 very small amount of like, I think the 500 to 600 grit, is it? You know, the pre-polish, but it would have to be like literally like the tiniest amount to like, so as not to affect it. It's really just so that it gets an uneven wear to it, and that's really not a necessary sort of thing. The sand in the dry-ish form is really what's important here to kind of give it that last bit of surface pitting. I'm going to drip a little bit of water in here to kind of get it damp but not soak it. That ought to be plenty. Tiny bit more water. That'll do. Yeah, that's looking perfect. So we're gonna take this and let this go for another 48 hours. And then after that, we'll open her up, spray them off, and that'll be final results. Stage 3, boy. Alrighty, in 2 days we get our final results. Check back in a few. Okie dokie smoky. It has been 2 days. These should be ready to go. So we're gonna bust them open and see what we got. Not this again. Ooh, that got kind of warm. Oh, that's funky. Check that out. Funky. Boy, check out this wacky bullshit. Oh, that is solid, bro. It's like concrete. Damn. Well, that was pretty simple. A few pieces stuck to the side. Oh boy. Look at this shit. That's straight up like some concrete. Yep, we got some sandy bullshit right here, but let me move that out of the way just a second here. Look at this shit. Oh, there it goes. It's still pretty tight in there. Yeah, I'm gonna clean this out real quick to make sure I'm not missing any pieces of stuff. Okay. Oh, some of that stuff is like, look at this. It's cut like a proper layer, like concreted to it. Oh my god, oh my god. This is gonna take a bit of extra help. Okay, took a little bit of extra gumption to clean them some bitches off. So these frosted over pretty damn good. They could be frostier, but they seem convincing enough. Same for that surface pitting from the last one. That dry cycle went all right. I'm not sure if it was supposed to cake up like that. I'm assuming maybe I may have put a little bit too much dampness, wetness in that dry tumble, because it was supposed to be a little wet, but not soaked. That was probably a little too much.
I'm sure if I ran it through that again for another day or two and actually dry sand, it would probably have turned out a little better, but for what it is, I'm quite pleased. I feel like the white and the blue in particular turned out the most convincing. Alright, white, I guess clear. Either way, pretty solid haul. Alrighty, this has been a presentation of the production of artificial sea glass, or at least something that's attempting to pass itself off as such. I have plenty of materials to run this again and again, so I'm going to be doing that and refining this and seeing if I can get better results. But for first time around, not bad. Actually, it turns out I'm a huge dumbass. I did not let this stuff dry. So now that it's dry, I can see that it basically turned out perfect. Look at this. Beautiful sea glass. Here I was worried I messed up the process. I think I got it more or less down pat then, though I am still suspicious about that last dry tumble maybe needing some less water. Look at these. Right, now that is frosty. Yeah. Practically opaque. You can see that little bit of moisture there. I also realize now I definitely didn't put anywhere near enough green or red in here. Won't make that mistake next time. Because these green pieces turned out awesome. Like perfect. Super convincing. Look at this. Those are great. Oh, this is so exciting. Much better than what I initially thought. Anyway. Now, this has been a presentation of my sea glass. Thanks for watching.